The situation for minorities is getting grimmer by the day in war-torn Afghanistan. In line with continual targeted attacks, another Sikh Gurdwara was attacked by terrorists belonging to Islamic State of Khorasan. International community and observers called out the Taliban government, which has maintained since its takeover of the country last year that Afghanistan is safe and secure under their rule.
The minority Sikh community in Afghanistan continues to remain a soft target for terrorist attacks. Recently, several terrorists associated with the Islamic State of Khorasan attacked Gurdwara Sahib Kartarpurwan in capital Kabul. At least 2 people were killed in what is the latest in a line of targeted attacks on minorities in Islamic Afghanistan. An explosive-laden vehicle detonated just a few meters away from the temple gates. Had it passed the barrier, the damage and casualties would have been exponentially greater. Recounting the horrific details, an eyewitness said he saw intense fighting between the two sides that continued outside and inside the Gurdwara.
بعد 6 و 15 دقیقه بود که صدای فایر شد. با این نگاه کردیم که چوکیدار درمسال زده بودن که تو مرمی در قلبش خورده. زخمی افتیده بود. ما طالبان زوج فایر کردن سر دست بود. دوستا سر زوا فایر کردن و داخل شدن. یک نفر بود و داخل درمسال شد. اگه داخل درمسال که شد پسان یا هم فایرکان یا فیکس 2 ساعت بعد محتربان اینجا انفجار کرد.
The United Nations Assistance Mission in Afghanistan has called for the protection of all minorities in Afghanistan, including Sikhs, Hazaras, and Sufis. The Taliban, which rose to power in August of 2021, claimed to have secured the country, but repeated terrorist attacks not only contradict those claims, but also give weight to the international community's concerns of a potential risk of militancy resurgence. In addition to receiving widespread international criticism, the Taliban was also asked by several countries, including India, home to the Sikhs, to assertively act towards the protection of minorities. Observers believe that such attacks could set off a new wave of terrorism in the country, with smaller groups receiving tacit support from insiders. And this, they believe, has been the primary reason behind the US and the West not involving themselves in rebuilding the war-torn country. Also, the United States has not released Afghan funds frozen by it earlier this year, fearing its use by the Taliban to fund terror activities. Despite the recent attacks, some of which claimed by the Islamic State militant group, the Taliban, however, say that they can still fight all forms of attacks on its sovereignty and its people. The international community does not think so.
Taliban is not in a position to provide security to minorities, number one. Number two, I would say that this hatred for non-Muslims exists, and ability of these groups to carry out or kill non-Muslims with impunity exists.
Prior to the Taliban's takeover last year, Hindus and Sikhs in Afghanistan numbered only approximately 600. Reports indicate that that number has dramatically decreased. Those remaining have been the subject of targeted attacks, predominantly by Sunni radical groups. The targeted attacks have driven Sikhs and Hindus out of the country, especially those with the economic and social resources to relocate. The situation continues to get grimmer by the day, and with no light appearing at the end of the tunnel, one can only hope against hope that things change one day and humanity prevails.